Tonight at 9, the federal funding freeze has been blocked indefinitely. Find out how the courts stopped the suspension.
And a new court transcript reveals a change in a 2-year-old murder case. See how this hearing impacts the evidence.
The closure of an equal opportunity office. Find out what caused the abrupt shutdown.
And how one Muncie organization is teaching locals basic defense. Find out more about this Liberation Studio.
And I'll be tracking rain chances tomorrow afternoon. NewsLink Indiana starts right now.
Local news about local people, live from Ball State Unified Media. You're watching NewsLink Indiana.
Good evening and thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Demar Robinson.
And I'm Braylon Judy. With a push from President Donald Trump, House Republicans sent a GOP budget blueprint to pass today, a step toward delivering his big, quote, big beautiful bill with $4.5 trillion in tax breaks and $2 trillion in spending cuts, despite a wall of opposition from Democrats and discomfort among Republicans. The vote was 217 to 215, with all Democrats opposed, and the outcome was in jeopardy until the gavel.
A federal judge in Washington, D.C. has indefinitely blocked the Trump administration's order to freeze all federal grants and loans. The preliminary injunction against the administration was issued today. The judge said a pause on up to $3 trillion of that federal funding was irrational and likely unlawful. In her ruling, the judge agreed the nonprofits behind the case would have operations disrupted with a future funding pause unless there was additional court intervention. However, those organizations could face a future funding pause.
A newly unsealed Idaho court hearing transcript related to the murders of 4 college students more than 2 years ago reveals defense claims that investigators inappropriately used DNA databases to identify suspect Brian Kohberger, and they recently asked a judge to toss that evidence. Laura Aguirre reports.
The newly unsealed court transcript sheds rare light on a case that's been in large part kept out of public view. In it, a defense attorney claims investigators acted inappropriately in their use of investigative genetic genealogy, or IgG, to identify their client, Brian Kohberger. Kohberger is accused of fatally stabbing 4 University of Idaho students in their off-campus housing in November of 2022. The defense's claim stems from how authorities used DNA gathered off a bloody knife sheath found beneath one of the victims, Maddie Mogen. The transcript shows Idaho State Police sent that sample of what's called touch DNA to a forensics lab in Texas. The lab used a database accessible to law enforcement to make a small, partial connection to possible distant relatives and 4 living brothers, none of whom were named Kohberger. The lab recommended the FBI get comparative DNA from the brothers, but the brothers refused to cooperate, according to the transcript. Despite that dead end, the FBI still identified Brian Kohberger as the suspect just over 2 weeks later. In the court document, his defense team claims that the FBI used other public databases not authorized for law enforcement use to run the DNA sample. Citing a document shared with the court, a witness testified that the FBI admitted to using MyHeritage, which is off limits to investigators. Kohberger's defense team asked the judge to suppress that IgG evidence. That request was denied, and Kohberger's trial is set to go forward this summer, with prosecutors seeking the death penalty if he's convicted. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
CNN has reached out to the FBI for a response to the accusation that it used a genealogical database inappropriately. Prosecutors did not directly respond to that claim during the hearing. Due to a wide-ranging gag order, prosecutors, defense lawyers, and attorneys for victims' families and witnesses are prohibited from saying anything publicly, aside from what is already in the public record.
The Social Security Administration Office of Civil Rights and Equal Opportunity has been shut down. The agency announced the closure today. The office handled worker discrimination complaints, reasonable accommodation requests, and programs to ensure equal opportunity in employment. The agency said those office functions described as duplicative will now be shifted to other divisions. However, it is unclear where employees who want to file complaints or ask for reasonable accommodations should turn. The Social Security Administration issued a statement saying the move is based on Trump's new administration push to make government more efficient. And I know today was a little more warmer. I know we're in like a full spring.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
The temperature was playing a lot of tricks on me today.
Oh yeah,
I was
definitely.
not sure whether or not I should be not wearing a jacket, should I wear a jacket? But today felt kind of warm.
Yeah, today was the first day that I got to wear a short sleeve shirt, so it was amazing.
Noah, what do you have for us?
Yeah, guys, that full spring is certainly fooling most of us across our region right now, but things are cooling down quite nicely across east central Indiana. 51 the warm spot in Portland, 37 in Hartford City, 40 in Muncie, just a little bit cooler, 39 in Marion. What I have for you tonight, here are our headlines. We've got a warm Wednesday ahead, but with that comes a midweek rain chance. All that with abundant sunshine and more. My full forecast coming up later in the show.
Thank you, Noah. In a world where safety is a growing concern, a new initiative in Muncie offers a hands-on approach to empowerment. This workshop is providing skills to protect oneself and their loved ones in Muncie. NewsLink's Mira Bloomer has the story.
In the Muncie Liberation Studio, just steps from Ball State, a new self-defense initiative is helping the Muncie community learn strength in seconds, offering practical self-defense techniques to people of all ages and backgrounds.
And then I trusted everyone here at the studio and everyone, any guests that came, I wanted to make sure they felt welcome and like their voice valued, you know.
The workshop was founded by Joseph Souza and Micah Peck, both of whom are involved in Ball State's Feminist for Action Club. They saw the need for a more accessible self-defense program in the community.
We had like 2 groups reach out to us, you know, almost back to back, trying to plan a self-defense training course here. So it showed me that there's very much a genuine interest in this.
The classes focus not on physical techniques, but also on mindset, situational awareness, and how to de-escalate dangerous situations.
We've done book readings, we've done presentations, consciousness raising groups, like where we just talk and share and spread awareness.
This initiative also features Jared Lauper from the Academic Grappling Gym, who brings his expertise in grappling and jiu-jitsu to enhance the training. These techniques help students learn how to defend themselves by focusing on leverage and technique.
So by building networks with others, you know, we're able to bring great people to this space to do events that wouldn't happen.
The self-defense workshop offers more than just protection, but a sense of security and peace of mind as the community fights back against safety concerns. In Muncie, Mira Bloomer, NewsLink, Indiana.
For more information, visit BSU Feminist for Action on Facebook.
Coming up, American consumers' confidence is falling in 2025. Find out what is causing the lower economic mood.
And the IRS is laying off several thousand employees. Learn how this affects you in the upcoming tax season.
Hey, boss. Okay?
I said I'm fine.
With the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it. And we lost it.
You can talk to me.
It's been really hard for me.
Hey there, Hoosiers. Are you ready to give your child a head start on their future? Indiana 529 savings plans are a simple way to save for their education. Plus, there are some great tax benefits. The best part? It's not just for college. Indiana 529 can be used for tech schools, trade programs, apprenticeships, and more. Start with just $10 a month at myindiana529.com to help them reach their dreams.
I've always loved space and football. Growing up, some people told me I had to choose. But here's the deal. You can be great at more than one thing. And getting involved in STEM opens up your world to a universe of opportunities in life.
This is my time.
Get inspired and get involved today. There are STEM programs and science centers available in your community, so be sure to check out spaceforall.us to learn more and get started.
This is my time. There ain't no doubt in my mind.
Find your place in space.
This is my time.
Space for All.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Welcome back. According to several recent surveys, many Americans are worried about their wallets. The soaring economic mood of the country is being driven by an increase in inflation and concerns about President Trump's tariff plans. The Conference Board's Consumer Confidence Index was down for the third consecutive month in February. The National Federation of Independent Business Uncertainty Index increased in January to the third highest rating it's ever had in its history. And a new survey from Wells Fargo shows roughly 75% of adults and teens say they plan on cutting back on spending due to economic worries.
Tax season is in full swing, and it's collided with headlines about IRS layoffs and cuts. What does it all mean for your return and refund? Last week, the IRS was expected to start layoffs of more than 6,000 employees as part of the Trump administration's broader cut to the federal workforce at the agency's busiest time of year. Tax professionals say amid leaner IRS staffing, taxpayers should try to limit the need for person-to-person contact with the agency.
What it means is if there's any possibility to electronically file your return, do so. Whether you're using a tax professional or you're filing on your own, or you use the direct file system, which is relatively new at the IRS, try to submit your return electronically.
Careful preparation can also minimize omissions and errors that could take longer to correct. And no matter what the headlines say, make sure to complete that return.
Starbucks announced major job cuts and menu changes yesterday. CEO Brian Nicole said Starbucks will be laying off over 1,100 corporate workers as it tries to turn around its business. The company will also be eliminating several hundred open and unfilled positions in addition. The coffee chain is going to eliminate about 30% also of its food and beverage offerings over the next few months in order to streamline things.
Tracking a return to cooler temperatures, I'll have the details after the break.
People want to define Gen Z, but that's our job.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives and led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Did you know that 9 out of 10 Americans are sick of the divisions in our country? But there's one small step we can take to remember that we're still connected. All over America, strangers with different political views are coming together to talk about their lives, not politics, and discovering they actually have a lot in common. Because even if we don't see eye to eye, we can still talk, heart to heart. So let's talk, for a change. Learn more at takeonesmallstep.org.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd?
He got a collapsed lung from vaping.
He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Welcome back. It was another spring-like day across East Central Indiana, but if we look outside right now, those temperatures are cooling down quite a bit. About a 15-degree temperature swing from north to south across our region. 31 in South Bend, 40 here in Muncie, 47 in Indianapolis, 46 in Evansville. Tonight, though, if you're headed out anywhere late, I would still want to grab that jacket just a little bit here if you're headed out late. Mostly clear skies with a low of about 38 degrees, with those northwest winds at about 5 miles an hour, not making it any more brisk than it already is outside right now. Tomorrow is going to be a a a cloudy day, but still going to be quite warm across our region here. 39 as you're headed to the bus stop, 51 degrees at noon, and then 57 in the afternoon as you're driving home. But look at these winds here out of the south-southwest, gusting almost up to 30 miles an hour by the time we get to noon, and that's going to bring moisture and the possibility of those rain showers into our region by mid-afternoon. Now, like I mentioned, PrecisionCast shows us quiet throughout the rest of tonight, but as we look into tomorrow morning, we're starting to see some of those rain showers move into our region for that morning commute here, especially if you're driving north along I-65 and I-69. We get a little bit of a lull as we head into the early morning hours, into the early afternoon, but we see that rain showers and especially that cold front start to move through our region 3, 4, 5 o'clock. Embedded with that could be a few rumbles of thunder, maybe a couple of heavier showers, but we're not expecting any sort of severe weather out of this event. Meanwhile, after that cold front moves through, we're just left with clear, cold, and quiet weather as we head into the second half of our work week. But I mentioned those wind gusts here, and we're really going to have to pay attention to those because we see them start to increase here, especially Wednesday night, west winds at about 10 to 15 miles an hour across all of our region. But notice how they move from the southwest out to the northwest. That's because instead of that cold front, before that cold front bringing that Gulf moisture into our region, we're instead going to be reinforced with cold shots of air as we head into Thursday afternoon. We see here Thursday at 5 p.m. the strongest of those winds, possibly even a northwest gust at about 30 miles an hour. So if you have any outdoor furniture, any of those children's play sets, I definitely want to secure them outside because it would be one of those days where they may blow away. But after that, though, we're seeing those wind gusts especially calm down as we head further into Thursday evening. Now, we've talked a lot about below average temperatures, but recently we've seen above average temperatures across our region, and that blue is gone on this 6 to 10 day temperature outlook map, mostly above average temperatures for the eastern seaboard here, and especially along the Gulf Coast states. Here in Indiana, still looking at above average temperatures here, so still going to feel like that full spring. Meanwhile, below average temperatures here in Southern California. Now, if we take a look at our 7-day forecast here, our only chance of rain Wednesday afternoon, 60% chance, a high of 57. Thursday, 42, 46 on Friday, and that sunshine really going to be abundant through the weekend. 41 on Saturday, 36 on Sunday. Going to be a little bit cooler, but that sunshine is going to be in full effect. But take a look as we head into next week, that first half of spring break, 45 on Monday, 49 on Tuesday. So honestly, guys, it's feeling like spring across our region. Yeah. I don't know if we're going to see any more cold snaps, but here's hoping the spring weather is here to last.
I know we were talking about Starbucks a little earlier today. I mean, yesterday I got a tea, warm tea. Today I got a colder drink from Starbucks. I was
about to say, yeah. And like you mentioned, Brendan, it's actually one of the first few days you can actually wear a t-shirt and shorts and not feel horrible outside, not be sweating, not be completely freezing. So I think we're looking forward to that t-shirt and shorts weather.
Thank you, Noah. Thank you so much. There's a lot more to get into on NewsLink Indiana. Jace Miller has a preview of sports.
Thanks, Braylon and Demar. Late season action is underway and tennis rackets are swinging. All this and more next in sports.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Students who can read by the end of 3rd grade are 35% more likely to graduate. I'm Dr. Katie Jenner, Indiana Secretary of Education, here to tell you how reading 30 minutes per day can improve the trajectory of a child's life. Whether you're reading with your child or they are reading independently, this is one of the most important things you can do to help them succeed. So this school year, please encourage your child to continue reading. It's a small habit that makes a big difference.
Food isn't just fuel to live, it's fuel to grow. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. When people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger, and together we can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Visit feedingamerica.org/actnow.
At night, NewsLink Indiana brings you the news before you go to bed. But Friday mornings, you're waking up with Cardinal Weather, bringing you up to speed on the day's top stories.
And giving you up-to-the-minute conditions from the Ball State Weather Center.
And of course, lots of fun.
I gave mine personality. Look, it's got eyebrows.
Ooh. My lucky glove didn't even work.
but I also am excited for those fall temperatures.
Start your Friday mornings with Cardinal Weather, live on the Cardinal Weather Facebook page.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Jace Miller with sports. A Ball State football player helps his community in a unique way. NewsLink Indiana Stephen Grotta sat down with the athlete for more.
For Ball State athletes, their relationship with their teammates is integral to their success. However, many athletes realize that a relationship with their community is equally as important. Such is the case for Ball State football's place kicker Jackson Corville. Fans can see Corville around Worthen Arena before and during men's basketball games, where he helps out guests and helps set up the concourse.
So I just kind of help run the game day operations and make sure the fan experience is good.
On top of making game-winning kicks, Corville also enjoys making a fan's day.
There's another little kid named Jackson as well, and he did one of our layup challenges. He wasn't very confident at first, so we kind of hyped him up.
Corville's favorite part of helping this young fan wasn't just that they shared a first name. Rather, it was what happened after the fan had won the challenge.
It was cool to see how he was feeling after that, the big smile on his face, and seeing how that made his day in a way.
On top of 5 a.m. workouts with the football team and a work-life balance as a student athlete, Corville's work ethic doesn't come without an inspiration. Like many others, his is.
When I get to talk to my parents or my dad, when I talk to my dad, I can hear how much he believes in me, and I know I can always keep pushing. Or if I ever need some inspiration, I can call him and he'll always keep pushing me.
In Muncie, Stephen Grotta, NewsLink, Indiana.
To bring it on to the court of Worthen, Ball State men's basketball is facing off against MAC foe, the Akron Zips, tonight. The Cards look to keep the playoff push moving with 3 wins in their last 4 matchups, 2 of those being overtime wins. Akron, on the other hand, looks to stay at the top of the standings at 13-1 in the MAC and 21-6 overall. The Zips look to bounce back from a double-digit loss to Ohio. After a close-fought game throughout, the Cards fell to the Zips 87-82. Taking it to a different court, men's tennis took on IU Indy and IU East over the weekend. NewsLink Indiana's Xavier Harris serves up some more.
After back-to-back losses the previous weekend, the team bounced back in a big way, improving to 6-4 in the season against IU Indy. The Cardinals started off slow in doubles, however the team prevailed, winning 5 of 6 singles matches in a 5-2 victory. Later on in the evening, Ball State dominated IU East in a 7-0 sweep. The team knows the key to winning these games was putting the past losses in the rearview mirror. As the team moves forward with momentum on their back, they now look forward to conference play.
That was our goal, get some momentum for that, and you have to put those losses behind you and move on, and that's what we're trying to do.
The team wants to continue to carry a certain mindset when it comes to playing the rest of the season as they get closer to big games with conference play in mind.
Got to come out with fire and passion, want to win every single match, and if we come out with just a little bit more of an edge, I think we'll have a good shot going into every match.
The ultimate goal is winning it all, that being the NCAA tournament.
I think that we're capable of beating anyone, but we're also capable of losing to anyone. No question, it's win the regular season and win the tournament and go to the NCAA tournament. That's our big goal.
In Muncie, Xavier Harris, NewsLink, Indiana.
We heard there at the end Coach Richards mentioning the NCAA tournament. We have another NCAA tournament coming up. March Madness.
Back to that first court, yeah.
Yes. March Madness coming up. You guys got any predictions? You going to fill out a bracket this year?
I might fill out a bracket this year. I didn't fill out one last year just because PTSD from other years. But I'm looking forward to just some dancing in March. I've been trying to dance at the desk here and there every time we mention March, but I'm looking forward to some dancing.
It would be my first bracket, so I have no idea what's going on. I'd have to do a lot of research, but I'm excited for it.
I know the odds to make sure a perfect bracket is very hard, but giving a crack at it every year seems very interesting.
So. Oh yeah, very slim chances and a lot of different teams losing to teams they probably didn't expect to lose to.
A lot of upsets. Remember that Loyola run a few years back?
Oh my gosh, one of my favorites, yeah. And then, a couple years ago, Florida Gulf Coast University.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Chase.
No problem.
Up next, we have your campus coverage.
And one final look at your weather after the break.
Yarr! All I wanted was my treasure, and I wound up with a lawsuit from my neighbors. And a belly full of regret.
Thanks, Salty Pete.
What a powerful dig story. Okay, great class, everybody. Before we go, let's stand and say the safe digging pledge. Shovels don't know right from wrong, but I do. And always contact Indiana 811 at least 2 working days before digging. It's the only way to dig.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. My name is Daniel Huber, and this is your campus coverage. Dungeons & Dragons Club held their miniature painting session yesterday at the Cooper Science Building. I joined them to learn more about what their characters mean to them. D&D club members are primed and ready to paint their miniature figurines. The club executives brought in a bundle of figurines while others brought in their own, like club president Mike Beatty. He's painting a game piece for another role-playing game called Warhammer.
Well, my favorite faction in Warhammer is Nurgle. It's all about plague, pestilence, that sort of stuff. So I made this guy.
Beatty says he does not have a strong connection to this character, but his Dungeons & Dragons character is another story.
If he was to die in combat, I'd be pretty bummed out. I very much enjoyed playing that character. Because his whole character thing is he wanders and explores. That is, he was to make his own story by doing that. And so I've done that, and I've really enjoyed how his story has turned out so far.
Some players tend to get attached to their characters over time. Club member Tristan Haas says that he's developed a deep connection with his character, a dark elf fighter.
You grow attached to these characters because that's really that's who you are. That's who your fellow players typically know you as. And then if you lose that character, it's suddenly you just aren't really into the campaign anymore.
Beatty, who also runs many campaigns, says building the connection between players and their characters is key to a good game.
I think that's probably the most important thing in a game, because if you're just playing a game, just kind of going through the motions, you don't really care too much about what you're doing. Yeah, you might have fun, but I think that the best type of story is told when you're invested in who's in it and what's happening.
And when they're done painting their pieces, they're back to writing their own story. The D&D Club has meetings every other Monday at the Cooper Science Building. To get updates for when the club has another event, you can follow their Instagram at dnd.bsu.
Not to expose my nerd a little bit to the viewers at home, but D&D relies a lot on creativity, and I'm glad they were able to create their own envision for their characters.
Yes, and I mean, as a player myself, I thought it was just absolutely fascinating when they had characters that, they had no idea what they were going to come into, a lot of the pre-made stuff. So they just grabbed one and went off. It was really interesting.
And as a player that's never played before, I just can't wait to jump in. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
And here is Noah with your final look at weather.
Yeah, guys, speaking of creativity, this is going to be a really creative forecast. Lots of things to do outside tomorrow while it is still warm out there. 57 degrees, you might have to dodge the rainfall, especially in the morning and in the afternoon. 42 on Thursday, 46 on Friday. And then look at this, a 3-day stretch of beautiful sunshine-filled days, maybe a little bit cold, 41 on Saturday, 36 on Sunday, 45 on Monday, and then 49 on Tuesday as we warm up into next week.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Noah. And that's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night at 9, streaming live on the NewsLink Indiana Facebook page and YouTube channel.
And for news anytime, anywhere, just go to ballstatedaily.com. Have a great night and stay safe.